we don't discriminate.
Isn't it time for National City to come in today?
They don't exist
They
anymore.
don't exist.
PNC.
Hey, when I worked for the
PNC.
county, that was the depository, everybody had their paychecks put in National City direct deposit. I
I
remember
worked
that.
there.
PCN, PC,
PNC.
PNC. You
Yeah.
knew it was all.
Yep.
I worked there through 4 name changes.
Four.
First National Bank, Bank Ohio National Bank, National City Bank, and PNC.
Huh.
I remember the old Tri-County Bank, that went through a lot of name changes. Well, they all have. Mid-Am, Sky Bank, what are they now? Huntington. Everybody just gobbles them up. Where's the judge today?
Here he comes.
Jimmy, welcome back. Where you been? AWOL.
Ah, yeah, man. Sign it. I don't know if it's
There
a
he
letter or
is.
what,
I
but
just
Got your-
asking about
I had to go to
him.
the doctor finally.
It's not 10 o'clock
yet.
Well,
They gave me some antibiotics.
Did you
I
stay
feel
up and watch
bad.
Tribe last night?
I did.
Yeah, me too.
Did
Are
they
you ready?
lose?
No, they
Kelly
won.
Nicole?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
been ready.
We will call this meeting of
Let's go,
Kennet
Jeff.
County Commissioners to order Tuesday, April 4th, 2017. Please join me in the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need a cheat sheet. We keep forgetting orders.
Please join Commissioner Stacy in prayer.
Join me for a brief prayer. God, thank you for the blessing of another day and all the many blessings you bestow upon us living in the free country that we do. Be with us and guide us as we go about making decisions that's in the best interest of the citizens we serve in Seneca County. And bless all of those and all that they're going through and facing at this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner Stacy.
Here.
I will accept the motion to approve the digit audio video recording of the previous board session from Thursday, March 30th, 2017, and the written index of that meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved. Any adjustments to the agenda?
I would just like to revisit the airport trees.
Okay. Anything else, Commissioner Stacy?
No, I think everything is already on there.
Okay, then let us begin. Go ahead. Say again, I'm sorry.
I got a couple things, Ted.
Talk to me.
The front facade at the new prosecutor's office.
Facade at Fifth Third.
Yep, insurance claim and a new business Memorial Day parade.
Mike, didn't you want to bring up?
Insurance claim is the same as the facade.
No,
Insurance claim is another topic.
yeah.
Okay, and Memorial Day Parade. And Kelly Nicole, what'd you have?
Didn't you want something to do with the auditor's office or the RTA or something?
That's probably a discussion we need to have outside of this meeting and then maybe bring it up later. Okay, Commissioner Thomas, let's begin with the airport since that's an A.
A is for airport.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear that we, the Tice property that we acquired had some trees left on it. And we were looking for the adjoining properties to the airport property and the airport manager to come to a resolution on what was going to happen with the removal of the trees. To our knowledge, there's not been any resolution of that matter. And so on March 7th, I brought it up and said that the removal of the trees and the removal of the abandoned vacated road is grant fundable, and we could include it in our supplemental grant application. So I just wanted to make sure that we were all clear that there wasn't a solution to the trees, and that by putting tree removal into the grant, we were in fact creating a solution where there was none.
Yeah, because the original grant it would have been included. That had to be changed because we didn't just tear down the house ourselves. There was a decision to sell the house, move the house, and so that took it out, which then kind of created the problem because there was, that solution was there. You know, I applaud you for looking into the, going back to the granting source, the FAA, and asking if we could include some things in there and so forth. I was thinking it was left, correct, there wasn't a solution, but that the airport manager was still trying to work with the neighbors and had kind of promised them another gathering discussion of things. So that was the only concern I had, was where was he at in the middle of that? He said that you had told him that you had got got approval or found out that this could get included in the grant or rolled into it. So that would be, my only concern is, I'm glad there's a solution, but did it overstep anything with what the airport manager was trying to do in communications with the neighbors or anything?
They didn't have a solution.
So-
They had tried to reach out to one another. There wasn't a solution. No decision is a decision. So if I'm looking for some other alternative, if there is one that either one of you want to provide. But it's kind of been made our problem. So.
Well, here's, the situation is very simple. We have varying conversations with the parties involved over the last, long time. The last conversation that we had was in session, prior to your being on the board, was that we don't want to cram down anything. We aren't here to dictate, we are here to get things resolved. The answer was, these are adults, these are big people, let them come to a conclusion on their own. I don't know if there's any timeline problem or any time frame. The last thing that I knew was that there had been some conversation about leaving the trees and putting the bushes up until they grow to such a height that there's no need for the trees. There's 500 solutions or combinations of solutions. But my opinion was to let it to Brad and to the homeowners to come up with a final answer.
And they haven't.
Yeah.
So,
But
at that point, that's our problem.
Right. In their support, we didn't say you have to have it done by any given date. I guess that retrospectively, we should have said we need to come up with a solution by April 1st or by May 1st or March 1st. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a position to make this decision either, but it's, they're at a stalemate, and so it becomes our issue, and we just need to resolve it, I think.
Probably need a solid update information with the parties involved, the airport director and either it's here
This
with
has
all
been
of us.
going on a year.
But just to make sure
I
they
think we just need to
understand.
be decisive and get it done.
Well, I'm not saying if it's included in the grant, just make sure they understand how that opportunity came up and that's included, and that the airport manager's got a chance. He's worried about, being a good neighbor. And I think that's his concern. And like, if he himself was offering to do anything with them or whatever, I don't know. I think there's some concerns of how the decisions were made, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. We just, maybe not everybody got the same update of what they said about the grant and that kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, this isn't new to Shane.
Yeah.
Holly got involved. I had a separate conversation that I probably didn't bring Holly up to date about enough, and so this isn't anything new. The problem is there's three of us, and as you had talked about, some of the things we can't talk about other than the session. So here we are. I'm still of a mind. I think that that the homeowners and the airport operator ought to get it worked out to a point where they both agree on what the solution is. But we ought to do a date certain, and if there isn't a solution, in this case by May the 1st, then we can make a decision. Like I say, if you make your problem our problem, we're going to resolve it. You may not like how we're going to resolve it. So that's what I would like to see happen. Allow them 30 days to come to some mutual agreement. And if it doesn't happen, then make a decision after that. We're not on any, there isn't any time constraint here that I'm aware of, is there?
If we've submitted the amendment for the grant application, then there would be, I'd have to check with Tanya. I'm pretty sure she submitted that amendment to get the trees included. So I'd have to check to see if that got, I'm sure there'd be a time frame on that, but I'll have to check with Tanya.
I mean, it's a year out before the trees are actually removed because of the bats and, you know, the grant cycle and whatnot.
Okay.
But, you know, I just think we need to,
I've offered.
I think we have enough information and we've given them plenty of time. I don't know what we could possibly wait another 30 days for.
Well, it's like anything else in life, that, you know, if you say you have to make a decision by X date, at least to put some pressure on them to get that done. I just, you know, there's 2 homeowners and 1 airport operator involved, and it just seems to me that they ought to be able to come to a reasonable.
I agree that it hasn't happened.
Could I interrupt? There was a gentleman here at the meeting, whenever it was, the whole thing was the room filled with the digital saving materials and everything. And he didn't say anything at the time, but he was here, but he was concerned about the airport situation because he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And he talked to one of you after the meeting, but he didn't say anything during the meeting.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was related to to the trees, though.
I don't know what it
It
was.
was Tom Zahn, and I think it was Mike.
Okay.
And he talked with one of you after the meeting, but I don't know, but he was expressing concern.
So do we want to, at this point, which one of us, if Shane wants to do it or whoever, to just kind of follow back up with Brad and see if we can kind of come to,
Well, again, if you want to
Yeah,
make sure,
I guess-
if you want to make sure something doesn't get done, give it to a committee, so.
I'm not saying a committee,
Let's-
just
no,
one,
no, no,
we're just
no.
3 of us going to
No,
Brad.
I'm agreeing with you.
I'm
Well,
just-
Shane, you are welcome to get this resolved.
No, I've resolved it. This is indecision to me. So we've given them a year. They haven't come to a resolution. We have grant funding. I mean, I'm sorry. You know, I really, really like the property owners, but there hasn't been a resolution. And by us extending this is just another act of indecision by commissioners. I'm not a fan.
Well, I don't really consider this an act of indecision by commissioners because we're dealing with specific, it affects 2 specific homeowners and the airport operator. Again, they're adults. It would seem to me that they can come to a conclusion, a reasonable conclusion on their own, rather than us cramming something down. So, with this.
I nominate Mike Kirschner to resolve this
I
issue.
will do it. All right, I will do it. I will do it. We will come to a resolution by May the 1st. Again, I don't think 30 days is gonna make a difference one way or the other. Okay, facade. That will be next in alphabetical order.
Okay, our maintenance supervisor got some quotes for the facade at Fifth Third. I don't know, I'm pretty sure Shane went down to look at the facade. The paint is coming off the front of those pillar things. I mean, you guys know that bank, you know what the facade looks like, and it's pretty bad.
So we decided whether that facade is limestone or sandstone?
Well, let's see what it says in here.
The report is limestone, but I believe it's sandstone.
Because I know that the pillar stuff is a different than, terracotta. He told me it's like a coffee cup, I don't know.
It's like what's on the Ritz marquee.
And then the bottom, so he gave me 2 different quotes for the sandstone at the bottom. And he's got some pictures included. The quote for that one was...
Who's he?
This was the same gentleman that did the quality work at the museum.
Oh,
He
okay,
did specialty work in this masonry.
okay.
A little higher than I expected, but with that stone being as it is, it was $38,300 just for the stone. And the peeling the paint or spray painting the, not spray painting, sandblasting the facade off is $10,100 for those two items at the front. So I just wanted to give you that update. We're trying to get a second quote on that, but I know it's,
That first quote, that seals it and protects it.
that is replacing the bottom sandstone that goes around it actually goes all the way across down by the Board of Elections.
Yeah.
That stone is fine, it's just the ones that are in front of Fifth Third and then down along the side of
They
Fifth
crawl off the
Third.
wall though, these.
Yeah,
okay.
it's about, I don't know,
Like a
two,
wainscoting height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're probably 4 inches thick, and they're flaking off. They're really bad. You wipe your hand across it, and it's deteriorating. Now, why the rest of the Board of Elections in front of Hope Roy's it looks perfectly fine. So this is just the stuff that wraps around Fifth Third.
Okay, so you're gonna get a second quote.
Yeah, see if there's any other options, and then the painting was the 10,100. I can look at getting another quote for that one too. This gentleman did wonderful work for us for the museum specialty care on the masonry, so we got a quote from him first.
This entire project, I know we added some extra carpentry type work that we needed to do with some desk and stuff, but
Right.
is it still under the budget amount that we had set aside?
I'll have to pull those numbers to
Okay,
make
I'd
sure.
just be curious on that as
Yep.
well when we get the second quote.
Yep, I just wanted to bring you up to date. These are the first
Warning,
ones I
warning.
got. Warning, this is coming, this is gonna be a question soon, so
Makes sense.
Okay.
just give you an update.
Is there any work that needs to be done on the, I don't wanna call it a facade, but the side of the health department entrance, the opposite side of the building?
We did that wall about 2014, 15,
We painted it.
just painted it as all we
Yep,
did.
we painted
Wasn't there
it.
some repair way towards the top when they took some signs off?
There was some peeling and and I think we had some recommendations to make a much larger investment to the side of that building, and we ended up just patching and painting.
Is it stuck all over brick? Is that what it is?
I don't
What is it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm guessing, Mike, but I don't.
Yeah.
That's,
But there was no plans for doing anything with that, and I guess in respect to your question, that I'm aware of this round.
Because
Other than-
I think at one point, it was a year or two after we painted, there was some bubbling starting again, so.
Well, that wasn't one of the projects that we talked about in
No.
the building committee, I know, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't need attention.
Yeah, we would need to look at it again to see. I haven't asked John for an update on that in a while. I mean, obviously, it hasn't been something that's brought to my attention lately, but I know that was an issue a few years ago.
Okay, sticking with the alphabetical theme, insurance.
Oh, insurance. Good news is I got a call from the insurance about the roof at the jail, so they're sending us a check to
So
get
that
the.
video, it helped us?
The video helped us. Yep, so they're gonna get that scheduled. The check is on its way, check in the mail, if we believe it. Also, there was another incident over at the CSB, you know, the pretty brick wall, they actually called it a screen wall.
Yeah.
Apparently over the last 2 weeks, somebody had backed into it. And so the insurance, I sent pictures to the insurance has accept that too, so they're gonna take the $2,500 deductible off of it, and they're gonna send us a quote to get that fixed. They didn't go through it,
Do you know who it was?
no. And John checked
We
the
have
parking
cameras?
lot, no.
Oh.
And John checked the parking lot, there was no car parts, no, so somebody cleaned up their mess. But it's been in the matter of the last 2 weeks, because they cleaned the parking lot, and it wasn't like it then, so. That's, the insurance said they'd cover that too. They made that quick decision yesterday, so just wanted you to know that that was coming.
Okay, then the last thing,
Memorial Day Parade. They just sent us the initial request. Parade will be May 29th. Start at St. Joseph's Church at 9. Didn't know, good time you to think about it if you guys want to be involved. I think
yeah,
you
get us
guys
a spot, one or three of us. would be there. Yeah.
coordinated a car at one point, a couple of years.
I did commit to go to Attica's because they're doing a special ceremony for the nurse and that kind of thing, and they ask months back. So depending on the timing, I'd be glad to be in this one unless it's at the same time.
Okay.
I just have to check on
We'll
it.
check that.
What's the specific date?
The 29th, May 29th. Looks like it meets at 9 and moves out at 10.
Be there at 4:10.
Okay.
We're still gonna, we ever pulled that old truck we have out?
To see if it runs?
Yeah.
No,
One
I'll
of
have
these
to
days we
ask
gotta do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to check, see if we can get that running.
Okay, then to the written agenda here, Justice Center. Either of you two like to bring us current on that?
Just the update picture that was sent. I know they have a meeting today. We're looking at trying to hone in on some more dates on some of the kind of public things as we
I got
go.
it. I talked to him this
Okay,
morning.
okay.
I'll announce him here.
Well, then I'll just, this is on the website, or will be shortly, talking about the different work, and I guess I'll just hit the key features, milestone dates. The steel erection continues to the end of March. At the end of the balance of the building, we'll have the topping off shortly. The building closed in the beginning of May. A brick veneer to start mid-May, so everybody keeps telling me, we keep seeing lots of progress. It's different every time we go by, and that's true, so that's good.
So the dates are, April the 18th, which is a Tuesday. They will be having a topping off ceremony, and as is part of a topping off ceremony, back from ancient times, they tell me that there is a pine tree that also is placed there, a live tree. And that tree then would be taken down and planted as a memory of the day that we topped off. They also will have that will be the day that the first time a flag flies above the building. So we will call Jordan's office and ask to get a flag that flew over the Capitol. If we can't get that, I have a couple at home that were flown over the US Capitol.
Okay.
And maybe you have one.
No, I had an idea of someone that wanted to give us one to use
Well,
whenever we
that's-
wanted. So
okay.
maybe one of the veterans, so,
That would be fine too. There isn't any commitment here. I just thought one that was flown over the US Capitol would be a
Yeah.
neat idea. But if there's somebody that wants to, they just need to know the size. That is on April the 18th, the topping off ceremony, and that will be sometime in the morning. A specific time hasn't been set. The open house, the tour, will be on June the 10th, which is a Saturday. It's coordinated with the farmer's market, that is, I think, 10 to 1 that day. The open house will be 1 to 3. There will be representatives from the contractors there to give people their tour. So those are the two dates that they have committed to. April 18th, topping off ceremony. June 10th, open house for the general public.
I'll have to get with them and see what time, because that's a board day.
We
The
haven't
18th is-
haven't set a time yet, but I'm
Okay.
sure, I would guess, what did you say again?
Yeah, the
I just asked her, I said.
Yeah, I'm
18th.
sure it'll be late morning, I would guess it'll be
Okay. Good board day.
maybe afternoon.
Okay.
Okay,
The landscape committee will meet a week from Thursday, and, we're continuing to press on there. But I had a question as to whether or not there was any lighting in the design originally, as far as accent lighting on the outside.
that would be a question for the architect, I would guess.
I don't remember specifically.
No, I don't either.
I don't remember anything attached to the building, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be, but I said if it was as far as in the ground, no, because there was absolutely no landscaping or anything on the exterior of that included, because,
Right.
I said,
So the plan is to get some kind of a high-level budget and kind of start from there. And, kind of decide how we want to live in that space, as the courthouse green. So that's where that's at.
Okay, anything else to add? Justice Center, okay, here we go, Health Department. I see your smiling faces here today.
yes. And I had requested to put this on because we had gotten a letter from our director, Beth.
Yes.
And I thought we just needed to make sure we started discussing the concerns she's had. I don't know if you want Beth to highlight anything or just to go, or?
Well, we've all read the letter. I think the concern is about the escalating rents. Is that
Yep.
really
Yes.
the gist of it all?
Yes.
And 2016, we paid how much in rent? Refresh my memory.
$39,287.50.
And that is
Correct.
up from how much, from 15?
Approximately, the way, from what I've done, it goes up $5,612.50 every year. It has risen by that much from 13 when it started, and that's the projection it would raise all the way to 19 by the letter Beth sent.
Okay. And I think the concern is that the rate of increase is higher than, it makes it difficult from a budgeting standpoint for the health department, because it's so much additional money, and it's $500 more a month and $6,000 a year. So, the background is we did have Emerson, who does the evaluation of the rents for us? Rent values.
The Maximus?
Oh, Maximus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, and the county cannot cost allocate the county health department, but there was a factor when they started that, way back before all of our times, calculated out a rate when they started charging for the space in 2013. But it is, so it's 50% of what the rate would be if it was Maximus done.
Right.
So it's like $5 a square foot, is what it started out as.
So, anybody have any suggestions about this request?
Well, go ahead, you wanna go ahead? I was just saying, the thought, kind of along the lines that Beth kind of had put in the letter, the one part here about possibly, maybe locking in the increase, so locking in a rate that she would be at through 19 versus knowing it's increasing, $5,600 and some odd dollars every year through 19. If we did that for 3 years, I was just, running some numbers here, it'd be $16,837.50 she'd save and have to direct towards, they're going through the accreditation process she shared at the district advisory council meeting that we had. And that's added cost to the health district on top of what it does to her year one, and then additional every year thereafter. So she's looking at an average increase of $50,400 a year because of that. Again, we can't help it probably with all of that in the building, but I was just looking at the 16 rate. Is there any chance of freezing it at 16's rate, including this year? Yeah, I know we have things budgeted already. That would make it a 3-year, bit of a reduction if we looked at that for 17, 18, and 19.
Is that a motion?
It was just a discussion. I thought we just needed to start
I
discussing
think
it
there's
because
a
we had the
couple things
letter.
we can do. One, I think we need to look at the space and we need to calculate what the square footage is. Perhaps we can, work a swap of square footage that gives the county back some square footage and gives the health department square footage that's more tightly fit for their needs. I know we've got victims assistance coming available and public guardian, those spaces. Maybe we need to look at the square footage. And, we've got issues for, storage downtown. And so, maybe we create our storage, out of some of the space that we carve out of the health department, and they give back space. And that's, how we justify, the rent freeze or whatever we consider. The other thing I think we can do to help them is they've got some stranded funds in the construction and demolition fund. That's a legislative fix. I talked to Bill Reineke this morning about it, and I need to get with you. We need to get something down to him ASAP because, Ohio has not been kind to the counties in this last budget. They're taking away some funding. So this is a good time for us to ask for some legislative fixes back. And so if we can free up those funds, that might be a nice bolus for you to help you get through the accreditation process. That would be a good use of those funds, I think. It's a one-time, maybe have a one-time drawdown on your landfill fees to go through the accreditation process. And that would help bolster your balance sheet a little bit. I think those are two things that we can do from our standpoint.
Okay.
And from a statutory standpoint, we're not required to provide property for space for the health department. But I certainly like that they're a tenant, and I think it's amazing that it's centrally located for people. I think we could do a little bit more for them in terms of making it more visible. You know, like, I don't know how people find you, quite frankly.
They don't either.
I really don't. I mean, it's nice that we have a little parking lot there, but visibility, it's terrible, and that's some of our most underserved population. So I'd really like to see us to do something there, but.
And that's a key thing in accreditation. They actually look at that. Can people find your health department easily and get around in it? That's one of the things they look at when they come to do a site visit.
Right. So, awesome, it's centrally located.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And with parking, but visibility, we need to do some work there. So, one of the thoughts is maybe we take the victim's assistance square footage and swap them out for, they've got a couple large rooms, and maybe that reduces their square footage, and that's our justification for, holding the line on the rent, and then asking for the legislative fix for the demolition, the landfill fees, to help them with their accreditation.
Okay, so Chair would entertain a motion to fix the rents at 2016 levels through 2020, with the promise from the health department that we would reassess their space needs and maybe modify the amount of space they're taking within the next couple of months.
Yeah, we will need to, I guess, get some renderings, because I don't know that we know what those square footages are.
I've got square footage that we've actually measured just for when we did the lease back years ago. I'd have to have maintenance maybe go over and measure victims' assistance to make sure what square footage is of those. We have very vague renderings of the CSB that doesn't include square footages, so unless John has separate ones over there, but we've asked for them before and we don't have them.
Well, I would move that we would freeze the rent at the 2016 level beginning for 17 and hold it for 17, 18, and 19 at that 2016 level.
Okay, through 2019. You want to add anything as far as reconfiguring?
And look into any space reconfigurations as suggested and see if there's any possibilities that we can do things to work to the benefit of both parties, and therefore that locks in, and as we go to reevaluate it come 19 to 20 on an overall square footage basis.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Do I have a
looking
second?
at that.
I will second. Roll call.
Commissioner Stacy,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. Okay, boards, you know what, in respect for time here, we have a hearing, let's get that done.
Good morning. We have Beth Ann Way, our business administrator, and Melissa Sellers, our fiscal officer, who have prepared the Title 20 plan. It's a periodic thing we have to do, have a public hearing on. And she works in coordination with Jeff Selda, Child Protective and Adult Protective Administrator on this. These funds are federal and they go to that protective work for those in our community who need those services. So we'll let Beth.
Kathy, do you need a sign-in sheet or anything?
Do you have one?
Yeah. Do you want me to pass it? Okay. Title 20, as Kathy said, is federal funding. It's called Title 20. It is also known as the Social Services Block Grant. And basically, I'm here to just tell you what we use those funds for, and hear of any questions that anybody has. So basically, we get we anticipate around $760,000 annually in Title 20 funds. Part of that is Title 20 Block Grant, and part of that is Title 20 TANF money, which is part of the TANF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families funding.
that they have allocated out of TANF and moved into Title 20. So it's about a 50-50 split between those two funds. And basically, we use this funding for our children's services, a lot of administrative, as far as case management and that kind of thing. So basically, I'm just gonna run down kind of what we use that funding for, and then, like I said, field any questions that we have. So this is a 2-year plan. We do 2 different plans, one for October of 17 to September of 18, and then October of 18 to September of 19. So we use these funds for adoption assistance, adoption planning for our children in care who hopefully will get adopted out. We use it for a lot of case management for the children's services and adult protective services. We have some money allocated out for day treatment for children, which is basically daycare for those children that we might have in foster care. Then there's actually the foster care services, because we do pay for foster care housing. There's independent and transitional living for those children who are about to age out of care. From the time they're 16 to the time they're 18, we offer independent living services for those children. We have prevention and intervention, so we try to prevent, obviously, children from coming into our care and intervening in those families, or with those families that need help. We also provide protective services for adults, for the senior population, protective services for children, which is, again, kind of an offshoot of that case management for the kids that need our care, or the families that need our intervention. And then we also have some children that require residential treatment services for more intensive care when they come into our care. And basically that is what we use our money for. That's a really quick overview, I know, so if there's any questions on that, I can try to field those, or Kathy can try to field those maybe.
Questions, commissioners? Hearing none, thank you very much for the presentation.
You're welcome. Thank
Do
you.
you need to take any action? Okay. Okay, we are at board session schedule. That gets out of my alphabetical. But anyway.
Good try.
Thank you.
Thoughts, we said that we would try, thank you, Beth. We thought that we would try the every other week, Tuesday, Thursday for the first quarter, where we are already in the second quarter. Any thoughts about what we want to do?
I mean, I just think it's easier, and it's maybe just old school, because it's year 5 for me, that we have a meeting on a weekly basis for the flow of everything. And accessibility and consistency. I like that. I think it's easier for the public to know when we meet, that kind of stuff, and that's, you know, just my preference for those reasons. I feel like there's been a couple of times we've had to either push, or I feel like either rush some topics to get addressed, or just delay because we had to wait until we had a meeting. Once we had to schedule a special meeting to make sure we covered something, so the timing of it didn't get put off by a month. And that was, again, kind of a schedule issue where it was something we wanted to make sure 3 of us were here for, and there were some known times with training, and otherwise something was gonna be gone. But that's just my thoughts in general, not a motion, but just my thoughts on it.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah, I guess I'm not aware of anything that's been delayed or inconvenienced by the meeting schedule. But I think we need to schedule more frequent work sessions. You know, I'd like to see, 2-hour blocks, weekly, where we're in work session. Because, some of these issues, like the airport, I mean, there's a prime example where if we were in a work session, we could discuss that, landscaping, the courthouse. And some of these issues tend to get rushed, and people's attention tend to get limited because we have other people waiting for us, or we have a meeting that we're trying to usher in. So these topics don't get fully vetted and discussed amongst us. And since this is our forum where we are allowed to talk about the issues because of some sunshine law. You know, I would feel that we were putting forward a more unified voice if we took time more frequently to discuss these issues in a work session.
Okay, well, let's do this. We tried the Tuesday, Thursday, and there were some things that had to be held off a little bit because there's a week down the road or whatever. So we're gonna have a meeting this Thursday, as scheduled, because I don't wanna change that. But let's start, as of, April, what, the 11th, which is a Tuesday? With Tuesday meetings, with work sessions scheduled on Thursdays as deemed appropriate by any of the commissioners.
Well, should we just schedule them?
I mean, you wanna schedule them every Thursday,
Yeah.
every other Thursday?
Every
At
Thursday.
Like a,
2 hours a week to discuss, you know, county business, I think. You know, we've got a lot going on. We've got buildings that are, you know, up for renovation. We've got, you know, there's just a lot of topics.
Well, let's do this. We'll schedule a meeting for next Tuesday, and then we'll schedule a work session for the 13th, and decide during that work session as to how long the agendas are gonna be and how much time we're gonna need. I think though, 2 hours is probably more than we'll need most times, but there may be times when we need more than that, so.
same time at 10.
Yeah.
So we're having a meeting
Every Tuesday, Thursday,
Every Tuesday at 10.
and every Thursday for
And work sessions, we're clear that no decisions can be made
Right,
during a
right.
work session.
They're just discussions.
So we're having a
Not being
meeting
formal.
every Tuesday, and every Thursday.
right.
There will be no formal decisions made at work session. It'll obviously be public because we're discussing things, but
Yeah,
no formal meeting. Well, that's what we're gonna try,
okay.
and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, all right, I guess we have new
Do you need
business.
that, do you need that formal motion for the purposes of documentation?
Yeah, probably, since we did do a resolution at the beginning of the year setting
That's what I was wondering.
the agenda, so.
Okay,
Then, move that we would begin our board schedule as of April 11th, meeting every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and on Thursdays at 10 a.m. for work session only, to be determined based on need 24 hours in advance. I mean, we'd have to obviously announce, right, if we weren't gonna have it, the work session. That work?
well,
As long as the work session's scheduled, then I'm in favor of the new schedule.
let's, I mean,
I don't wanna say we'll schedule them and then they won't be scheduled. I'd rather have them scheduled and cancel them if they're not needed.
my thought would be work sessions every other week. And then after 30 days review and see if there's a need to do it every week. I just,
It would put
I don't
on-
think 2 hours a week discussing county business is too much.
I would put it on the second and the third Thursday. I just know we're gonna hit no, not, it was a board meeting, never mind. We're gonna get some conflicts already on the 20th, but that's.
We're gonna have conflicts.
Yeah,
We're all-
they're gonna
we're
be
all going
conflicts.
to have, you know,
all right, well,
vacations
we'll
and-
schedule the meeting for the 13th, the work session, and then we can have, during the work session, we can have this discussion.
Yeah, that would
All
be,
right?
Well, I mean, and there's an example. I mean, we don't wanna discuss it, we wanna hold other things up, so, I would prefer to support the motion with the work sessions in it.
every Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'll just have to send out notice if it changes, because we do have a board session scheduled for the 20th at Sentinel. That's an official board session that we have scheduled, so.
Right.
And we will need to keep that one.
If we have a board session that day, we're not gonna have a work session that day as well.
So we'll have a work session on the 13th and the 27th.
Yeah.
So
Let's schedule those two at this point. in
So if my
time.
motion is of such that we're meeting every Tuesday at 10, Thursdays we'll have work sessions, if not already a pre-scheduled board meeting at 10. Okay, then it just needs a second.
We'll throw that resolution again.
We'll
try.
Good luck with that.
Thanks. Do I have a second?
No, you don't have a second, yeah.
I will second it if the motion is Tuesday board sessions, Thursday work sessions.
Yes, other than, like I said, the 20th is a board session.
I just don't want to get this thing too convoluted to the point where we're changing things around every time and you know, we gotta give 24 hours notice and for right off the bat on the 20th, we've gotta cancel that and do something else.
I mean, if we get a couple in a month, we're getting more in than we have been, and I think you make a valid point about wanting to know we have them, but it doesn't make it, like I said, we have to constantly change it because we can't participate in somebody's meeting we need to be at or something like that, but we have that.
All right, well, let's, again, there's three of us, and we can change that motion wherever we need to. So, we have a motion on the floor, that meetings would be on Tuesdays, with work sessions on Thursdays. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Yes. Now, new business.
Now new business. All right, I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the Public Assistance Fund, putting $160,460.39 into their contract service. This is for the EHOBI and the Comprehensive Case Management and Employee Program Temporary Assistance for Needy People. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the Workforce Investment Fund. She's putting $6,888.43 into contract services. This is for the Comprehensive Case Management Employee Program and the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act expenditures.
Easy for you to say.
Great. Just gonna read the acronyms, but I knew you'd ask, so I figured I better just try it. I've got a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the 2017 Seneca County Township Road Reconstructions Program, OPWC Issue 1, Round 31. This is set for Tuesday, May 2nd at 10:30 a.m. here at the Commissioner's office.
That's road, not code.
Yeah, I fixed it.
I was hoping for
Must
two.
be on the agenda, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to sign the satisfaction of mortgage Ken Miles for the satisfaction of his loan with Seneca County Commissioners for work done through the Community Housing Improvement Program FY 2004. Principal amount due shall be reduced by $2,843.64 for a maximum of 5 years. The total maximum reduction, $14,218.20. Balance due $10,151.80.
I guess I'm a bit confused.
I am too.
This is for the satisfaction of a mortgage, and yet we're saying that they still owe us?
Yep.
Balance of $10,000 has been forwarded to the Seneca County Regional Planning Commission
Yeah.
for satisfaction of mortgage for the record. So they're saying that the mortgage was satisfied. Principal amount due shall be reduced by $2,843 for a balance due of $10,151. But that $10,151 has been forwarded to regional planning to satisfy the mortgage.
But they're asking us to satisfy it at a lesser amount, apparently.
Well,
I don't
resolve the Board of Commissioners releases the satisfaction, releases. I don't know what kind of English that is. A mortgage from Ken Miles for work done through CHIP. The Commissioners have approved the payoff amount of $10,151, with $1,015 being paid to Seneca Regional Planning for administration. I don't understand this. I've got to get counsel from the prosecutor for it. So,
You wanna remove that till Thursday?
Pardon me?
You wanna hold that till Thursday?
Please, is there a timing problem with that or anything? Because I just don't understand it.
No, not that I'll have to call Sherilyn. This one just came in and she prepared that, so I'll have to ask her.
Okay.
So we'll remove that one.
Maybe you two are clear, or you want to approve it, I don't know.
I didn't see it.
No.
Okay. So I will, I'll entertain a motion to approve the supplemental appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Stacy,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Kushner.
Yes, what are we smiling about?
You're gonna do all the resolutions except the last one, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
You just said the
right.
supplemental ones, that's why I was.
Okay, no, all resolutions except for the final one, that's right.
Mr. Chairman, prior to us going to our schedule, our public comment, I'd like to request that we did put this on the agenda for Thursday, and that was the letter we received from the Ohio History Connection regarding the Ohio State's Historic Preservation Office granting funds to us because of the Rover Pipeline settlement from a historic home being demolished that wasn't supposed to. Bottom line is, we're getting $50,000 to spend in 3 categories, and I want to have the discussion, unless we want, but an answer is needed by the end of April, so I'd like to get the discussion started.
Yes.
That, you know, we've had a chance to, or we could all look over that and formulate ideas, ask questions, whatever, and make sure we start to discuss it in case it makes the articles and anybody else has some thoughts and ideas for us or wants to read through what's eligible. I think we should look at that.
There might be some input from the public actually. on
Right, right.
that. Okay. Anything else, commissioners? Public comments? Yes.
Loretta Miller, Tiffin, Ohio. I have a request in terms of your proposed work sessions that the suggested topics that you're planning on discussing, could that be publicized a day ahead? So that, like that gentleman with the airport concern, would know about it ahead so that he might adjust his schedule and be here.
We would have to send it out like we do the regular agenda, so yeah, it'll get sent out.
So there will be a proposed and will
But
it be
that's-
published ahead of time?
Right, but that's not to say, Loretta, that other items might not get discussed that happen
Right,
during the course of that.
no,
yeah.
no, just
we're
ones that
intended,
you're
yes.
definitely planning on and other assorted, you know,
I think that's a good
kind of
suggestion.
thing. I don't mean a strict agenda, but, so that the public knows what's coming up.
And just so you're aware, because we put the paper together the night before it actually comes out, we need to know that like the afternoon before it be
Right.
published.
Yeah,
Like, we need to get it
24 hours in
Tuesday.
advance is our.
Yeah,
yeah.
we need to
Instead
get
of-
it Tuesday afternoon.
Instead of Wednesday, we need to
Have
get
it
it
in
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Right.
Our requirement is 24 hours notice, so we'll do the best we
Right.
can. Not
Well, I'm
that we
just
don't want to
saying-
accommodate, but
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying for what she's saying,
It won't be possible for us
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
paper
know
doesn't
you
come
have
out until the
your
next
deadlines.
morning. Right.
Got it.
But even reading it in the morning, somebody could.
Sure. And that will be there because they have to meet the 24 hours. So.
Okay,
And Thursday, we have a discussion, a technology discussion that's going to occur. So anybody who has an interest in the fiber project, E911, centralized server, any of our county officials, any of our safety personnel who have an interest in hearing where we're at on that project, I'd encourage them to be here so that we have a full hearing on that.
And the museum director's coming to do her monthly report.
monthly report.
on Thursday?
Yes.
Good.
Good.
Okay, any other comments? I will accept the motion to go into executive session.
Yes, I'll move we go to executive session regarding pending litigation.
How about imminent?
Eminent.
Imminent. Nothing's
Thanks,
pending.
Ben.
That's why you're the attorney now.
Second.
Okay. Do we need to roll call that, I guess? Go ahead.
Commissioner Stacy,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Kushner.
Yes, we will go into executive session. We don't expect to come back to take any action, do we?
No.
other than to adjourn.
Other than to adjourn, yeah. So you're welcome to stay if you wish.
I think we're gonna see a